All right, welcome back, good people. On this podcast, I want to talk about mastering your craft. Think about that for a second. Mastering your craft. How would that work? Any idea? What is your craft? Do you know what it is that you are exceptionally good at? Do you know what it is that you enjoy doing? Do you do that regularly? See, in order to master something, you have to do it consistently, continuously, over and over and over and over again, till you get to where it's automatic for you. Like basketball players, athletes, period. When they're shooting those free throws, they have shot hundreds of thousands of free throws. That's why they're so accurate, right? It's like you decided that you want to be a basketball player, and they're giving you an opportunity to make 10 free throws. You're going to have to shoot 10 free throws. And for every free throw you make, you get $100,000. How many can you make starting out? How much of that money do you actually miss, right? Now, if you've been practicing for 10,000 free throws, working on that craft, guess what? You're going to walk away with some money. Absolutely. And that's how it works in the business world, right? When you decide to start a business of any type, whether it's offline or online, there are skills that are required. There is effort that has to be put into understanding the process. Because everything, ladies and gentlemen, is a process. Everything. Anything that's done is done in a process. You can master that process. You just have to identify what you want to do and begin the practice of it. And over time, because that's one of my favorite phrases, you'll get it. But not only will you get it, you'll get to understand the little nuances that they didn't tell you about, right? And that's what makes you an expert. That's the part that separates you from someone who has you having 10,000 hours than someone who has 1,000 hours. That's what separates you, because they hadn't been there long enough, right? And when you think about it, it only makes sense, because what you're going to be doing is creating a system or a process that makes that next thing easier for someone who purchases it. What you're selling, what you create. Let's say you write a book. That book that you wrote is based on an effort to make the reader get something from it, right? Now, depending on the topic, what they're going to get, right? If it's, let's say it's a book about mental illness, mental health, mental wellness, right? Who would read that book? There are a lot of people who would read that book. Why would they read that book? Because a lot of times we're going through that. We're feeling that. We don't want to tell anybody, but we're going through that. And sometimes we don't realize it until we read that book that we're actually having those same feelings, those same emotions, those same thoughts. And now we can identify what that is. Now we know, hey, this is what I'm having. PTSD, this is what I'm having. Depression, all that's real. Now, if you want to flip that script and go to something more day to day, when I say day to day, I mean mental illness is real too, but I mean from a perspective of growing your craft. Let's say you want to start a business and you really like photography, but you don't even own a camera yet, right, other than your cell phone. You can start with your cell phone. You have everything you need right there. You simply have to understand how that works, put together a process that you can follow continuously. Let's say you want to or record or take pictures of flowers. All you have to do is say, okay, what I'm going to do is on Monday, I'm going to go around to different places and look at flowers, and I'm just going to take pictures, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to upload them to my system, right? And when you do that, let's say Monday and Tuesday, and then you have like a week or a month has passed by. Now you have 50 photos. You see, you have an archive now. You can put photos in different places at different times, right? And that process or that system that you're creating is starting to grow. Now people are starting to get more and more interested in what those flowers are, because you describe the flowers, introduce your viewers to what's going on, right? That's how that works, and they loving how beautiful the pictures are, right? Because you are becoming a better photographer. Now in the beginning, let me say this: you're not going to be very good. That's how it works. Don't get offended. You're not going to be very good. That's why I'm spending all this time working on my craft with these podcast episodes, because I understand you have to kind of know from a different knowing to make it comfortable, to make other people comfortable. And with me doing interviews, I'm going to be doing interviews, more and more interviews, starting the first of the year. I need to be able to make other people comfortable. I need to be able to be comfortable myself, right? I need to be able to understand where the lights need to be. I need to understand how the show needs to be set up, how I want to set the setup. I need to understand all that. I do. Not that person coming in for the interview. I do. Because I want a certain look, boom, when you view it for the first time, or the second time, or the 100th time, right? It may be someone you know, and you might want to share that and play it back with other people. That's how that works. That's why I want to really get in the podcast game, because not because of the finances that you can make, but because, life is about people. Life is about meeting people. Life is about connecting with people. And when you connect with enough people, you're going to connect with people that can help you. You're going to be able to help people because of who you are, or what you acquired, or the position that you've obtained, right? And that's what you want. You want to be able to give back, but you do it from a place of not necessarily planning on receiving. But because of the way the universe is set up, you can't give without getting back. It may not come back to you. It may come to your children, or it may come to your grandchildren, or your wife if you're married. However it comes back, it will come back. It's period. That's a period behind that. So, work on your craft. Get in the game. Start to identify what it is you want to get better at, and start. I keep emphasizing that. You got to start in order to realize that's not what you want, really. Or that's exactly what you want. You got to get in the game. And we're at a time now in the 21st century where technology has made it where you can do all this from home. You don't have to go any place. No outside connection until you're ready. How cool is that, right? I love it. I love it. All right, listen, I appreciate you guys watching these podcasts, and I'm going to continue to kick them out because this is what I do. And I am going to be the master of my craft because I work at it, whether you understand it or not. And if you want to follow what I do or emulate what I do, that's all cool. I have no problem with that because that's how I did in the beginning. I had to, mimic other people's systems and processes until I become comfortable with mine. And I welcome that. We'll talk to you on the next podcast.